Welcome, everybody, to Get Some Games, Episode 1. I'm your host, Sean, and I'm here with Ben.
Hey.
Hey. So this is Episode 1 of our brand new video game weekly podcast, and it's kind of a coming out party for our new channel itself. We have a YouTube channel, Get Some Games, and Twitch at GetSome_games, and then you can follow us on Twitter at GetSome_games. And this is really the first thing we're doing with our channel, so we're really excited to be doing this and bringing our new video game personalities to the internet.
Yep.
With our first episode, we're going to start off with what we think are the biggest couple news articles of the week, and then we're going to end the show with our top 5 video game franchises of all time, just so the listeners out there can kind of get a gauge of our interests as opposed to the listeners and things like that. So do you have anything you want to say before we get going?
Oh no, man, just excited to get going.
All right, let's do it. So we're going to start off with a game we're both super hype about. The Star Wars Battlefront beta ended recently, and EA has put out some crazy stats for it. It is their biggest beta of all time, with over 9.5 million total players, 1.6 billion minutes played, and just a few other just random stats, like the weapon with the most kills was the E11 blaster, and it had 293 million kills. 6 million people got up to rank 5 to unlock the jetpack. Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker were both spawned almost 6 million times apiece. And just crazy things like that. So, Ben, I want to hear your thoughts on the beta, because you played it considerably more than I did.
Yeah, I played it, I guess about half the time that the beta was out. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it felt like Battlefront, so that's a plus. But the shooting gameplay felt right. The third person felt right. It was weird. I thought that the first person and third person varying perspectives would be unbalanced, but it wasn't. Like the way they did the perspectives, first person wasn't that much closer than the third, so they did a really good job with that. It all felt really good to play. The only thing is that it's hard to get a gauge for the full game, because we don't know all the content that's going to be in the game, and you only had 2 multiplayer maps and 2 different game modes. So we'll see. I'm still concerned about the total content, but the gameplay is really, really good. So.
What did you prefer yourself over? Like, did you stick with first person, or did you go third person like the older games?
I kind of went back and forth. Sometimes I went first person because you can see the terrain better, and the game is really beautiful. Like, really, really good looking. I think it's the best looking game that I've played or looked at on a PlayStation 4/Xbox One so far. I mean, it looks really, really nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Like, I found myself just like looking at rocks a couple times.
Yeah, like I would like be looking at the scenery instead of at the people I was trying to find. Got me killed a lot, but
yeah, it's worth it. Just a beta.
Yeah, and I like how they're using Star Wars music. I mean, I guess that's to be expected, but it got you really hyped into it when the John Williams themes would play. So that's cool.
Yeah, I love the presentation of the whole thing too. Like, if you're playing Battlefield, I guess is a good example since it's made by DICE as well. It's not like music just starts playing randomly in a battle. You just hear, like, the environment around you and the people around you. But to hear the Star Wars themes and different songs play throughout the match, like, they just seem so at home. And to hear the sounds of the blasters and like TIE fighters and X-Wings flying by, like, everything just sounds so Star Wars. And I think they nailed everything, from the look to the sounds to the feel. I think they really, really killed it.
Yeah, they really did. So it just remains to be seen how much is going to be in the game. Though they have announced that Han Solo, Princess Leia, and the Emperor are going to be heroes that you can use. So I would assume that more will be added in the future also. I don't understand. I know a lot of people don't like the prequel movies, which is fine, but the aesthetic of them, a lot of people do like. And so I'm wondering if they're going to put like the droids and the clone troopers into the game at some point, because Battlefront 2 had it, and those maps were some of the most fun, in my opinion, in the game. The ones based on the original, the prequel trilogy. So.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting. Like, obviously, no, I don't think anyone out there likes the prequel trilogy more than 4, 5, and 6. But the internet just hates on them so much. I felt like DICE was doing it. I feel like DICE felt like they were doing a service by making it just the original trilogy. Like they could say, like, here's our new Battlefront game. Don't worry, it's only 4, 5, and 6. And when you really think about why 1, 2, and 3 are bad, it's not all of it, but so much of it is just like the acting and the chemistry between the characters and how it just looked like everything was just effects. And
Yeah.
like, that doesn't mean that the characters themselves were bad or the ideas that they had going on were bad or the look of everything. Like, I would have loved to have Darth Maul in this game and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu and like anyone like that, even freaking Grievous if you want to throw him in there. Like,
Exactly. And the thing about this is that the people playing the Star Wars games are also likely a fan of the expanded universe. I don't know why I'm drawing that connection, but I get the feeling that people who are diehard 4, 5, and 6 and like hate and loathe the prequel trilogy to the point where like they wish it wasn't canon at all. Probably, I don't think that they play a lot of Star Wars games because they're probably of an older generation. So what I was getting at is that I think they would please more people if they just put them in, because a lot of people love Battlefront 2. That's everyone's favorite Battlefront game, and that has the prequel trilogy in it. So
yeah, and it'd be great for variety, like with the maps, so they have more than just 4 planets to choose from.
Yep.
I mean, it's nice that they're bringing in the new planet.
Jakku.
Yeah,
That's basically Tatooine. So
yeah. So like, I don't know, just like, and there's a hero mode, and I feel like that would get kind of old with only 5 heroes in it. But there might be more, like Boba Fett might be coming, or just anyone else that they could, like Chewbacca. I guess Chewbacca was a hero in Battlefront 2, so they could add him. So we could be getting closer to 10 by the time the game comes out, because I don't think they've ever officially said that the 5 that we know are it.
yeah, I don't think so either. I think that they'll eventually add that stuff in. I also think that the prequel stuff will probably come as DLC. Just because it's EA, and I think there's enough demand for it. I mean,
yeah, I'm worried that we're not going to get any of that until the next Battlefront.
that's what I'm worried about too. Which almost, if that would be the case, I would almost rather just wait for the next one, because that's gonna have everything that I want in it.
Yeah, but it's so far away.
Yeah.
And there's a $50 season pass, which, like, whether or not you think that's an outrageous price or not, that's got to have some kind of substantial content to it. The new map, Jakku, and that whole DLC is going to be free, so that's not even included in the $50 season pass. So if they're putting out a new planet for free, then who knows what could come with the $50 season pass. It could be more heroes. I guess it could be how they introduce a lot of the prequel stuff.
Yeah. The thing is that just getting the season pass in terms of dollar amount is usually a better deal than buying everything separately, right? So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it feels insulting because you're like, oh, why didn't they just put all this stuff in the game? But it's like, I don't know.
That's just not how video games work anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't going to do this, then we'd have to wait even longer. The budget would get even bigger, which is part of the reason that they do have to charge for it. I mean, people can't work for free. So
yeah, like video games themselves, like the $60 disc would just be more expensive. Like, video games now are cheaper than they ever have been if you adjust for inflation and all that stuff. Like, some Nintendo 64 games when they came out, Superman 64 was $80 when it came out.
That's insane.
And it was $80 in the 90s. So that's like over $100 now. And video games now cost way, way, way more to make, and they cost $60, at least in the US. They cost $60.
They do, but I think that's actually a discussion for another podcast, because the whole inflated budget thing is actually a really big problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, that can be our major topic in a future episode for sure. But overall, I'm super stoked for Battlefront. That's going to be, I think, at least with our new channel, that's going to be the first game that both me and Ben are going to be streaming and playing and putting up videos for and playing together, and we're going to have some other people in on that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that game. I mean, I hope it's as good as I want it to be. And by good, I mean just more stuff, because the gameplay is great. I know there's some balancing issues on Hoth, but I think that it's not I don't think it's so egregious that it can't be fixed or it's that big of a deal. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm still looking forward to it. So
Yeah, they did address the fact that the rebels had a disadvantage in the Walker Assault mode, that it was way easier for the Empire to get, like, just to have the AT-AT survive.
yeah,
And for if you were on the rebel side, it was like you were at a huge disadvantage because of just how hard it was to take them down. And they addressed that issue, and they said that they will be fixing it. So, like, one of the big issues, at least that I saw around different forums and comment sections, was that was like the biggest balancing issue, and they've already addressed it. So that's why betas exist, so they can make sure that their servers can hold 9.5 million players, and that all these balancing issues get figured out before the game actually comes out, and people throw up their arms. They like saying, I just bought this $60 game and it doesn't work, all this stuff. That's exactly what betas are for, and that's why I love that so many games do them these days.
yeah, and I like that it was an open beta where anyone can do it. Like that was also great because a lot of games do closed betas with beta keys and stuff, but they didn't do that this time.
Yep.
Did you do the survey?
I did not. I should have.
So I did it, and I actually I have a problem with the survey because the survey asks you questions in a way that it's as if you've played the final game, and it's like, well, pick 3 of these answers and blah blah blah, and it's like based on the answers that I'm allowed to choose from, like the only things I felt comfortable picking were like the shooting gameplay was good, the graphics and sound were good, right? But that is such a the graphics are such a small part of what's going to make the game fun at the end.
Right.
To the point where like I don't want EA seeing that and being like, "Oh, all they care about is graphics." And it's like, "No, the graphics are striking and I would recommend it based on that." But I don't want them to think that's all that matters. So that's what worries me about the survey, that the information that they get isn't going to be indicative of anything.
That's weird because it's not like anything is forcing them to do a survey. Like I would assume that a survey is for their own like information, so they would kind of doing themselves a disservice if they just put out a survey to have everyone say how amazing the game is.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you don't have to pick anything, or you can just not even choose those specific things. But it's like, it's weird. I don't know. Maybe they did it. There's something going on in their marketing team and or in their production team that has it all figured out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd like to think they know what they're doing. DICE has been one of my favorite developers since Battlefield 2 on the PC. So, obviously they had major issues with Battlefront 4, which is it's still kind of concerning. They obviously have like all the betas that they do and everything like that. They're preparing, and I'm positive they're not going to screw up again. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of skeptic that we're going to get Battlefront the second it comes out and then play it, no worries. I don't know if you just heard that. There's like a big thunderstorm that just started.
No, I didn't. I did not hear it.
Yeah, I looked outside and there's nothing, and then I look at my computer for 5 seconds and look out, and it's just pouring and lightning and everything.
It's DICE. They know that we're talking about Star Wars, talking shit about them.
Yep. So, but like I said, I think they can deliver. They're still one of my favorite developers, despite Battlefield 4 being a disaster for months and months after it launched. But I have faith that this game is going to be great, and they're not going to screw up again. And I just hope that they're not rushing this out to get it out before the movie, while Star Wars is at its peak hype right now.
Though, I mean, the whole Star Wars team right now has been in such high gear. Like, everything is so meticulous that it's to the point where it's like, I don't think that they would rush it. You know, I feel like the game that they're going to put out is the game that they wanted to put out.
Yeah. Yeah, like with what you say with them being high gear, shifting away from video games just for a minute. When Disney came out and bought Star Wars and said, we're erasing the canon except for the movies and Clone Wars, I was like, this is my time to get into Star Wars. I can be just as caught up with everybody else. And then this year hit, and I feel like there's a new novel out every week. and there's Star Wars Rebels, and I'm almost finally almost done with Clone Wars, and now there's going to be a movie every year, which that's going to be easy to keep up on. But and there's comics. Marvel's putting out comic after comic after comic. Like I don't know how even the hardest of hardcore Star Wars fans, I don't know how you can keep up with everything unless it's the only thing you enjoy is Star Wars.
I mean, people that really love Star Wars, such as myself, I mean, they're always looking up Star Wars stuff. I mean, I've been looking up Star Wars stuff, I think, every single day since the first teaser trailer. Wow. Yeah, I mean, probably not every day, but you know, I love Star Wars, so I could see it's doable. I don't know about reading every book. I don't think that's so feasible, but I've read Shattered Empire comics. I read a Darth Vader comic. I read Lords of the Sith book. I've seen all of Clone Wars. Been keeping up with Rebels, so it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah. Did you watch the new trailer
for Star Wars?
Yeah, for episode 7.
Oh man, yeah.
No, I didn't. I'm officially on Star Wars blackout now with episode 7.
It spoils nothing. There's nothing spoiled.
It spoils in ways that you don't think about.
No, like literally.
Like what if just random? I haven't seen a second of this trailer, so whatever. What I'm about to say might sound really stupid, but let's say like I'm going into this movie with the thought that Luke, Han, or Leia might die. One of them might die.
Yeah.
Like that's just a thought, just because. And is Luke in the trailer?
He's in the trailer, but he's hooded and you don't see him.
Okay, so what if there's a part in the movie where Luke is in some kind of trouble, but the scene from the trailer hasn't been in the movie yet? So then I think, oh, well, Luke's fine. He gets out of this because that other scene hasn't happened yet.
There's just nothing. Like, if anything, this trailer created more mystery. It's like, now I'm even more like what is going on? Oh, man, we could talk about the trailer in of itself for an hour, but
I might watch it then. You've kind of convinced me to watch it.
It's pretty cool. Like it gives you a tidbit of story, but really like not really.
I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to see it the night it comes out because I haven't pre-ordered my tickets, but I don't live in a big city, so I don't know if pre-ordering movie tickets is that popular of a thing.
Oh, I'm seeing it on Saturday, so I'm not even going to see it opening night or pre-opening, the whole 7:30 showing thing on Thursday they do.
Yeah,
so it's like, why not
just the whole Batman thing.
It's very weird, but oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's because I don't like. It's a stupid rule, but I get it kind of. But like, if someone's gonna go shoot up a movie theater at midnight, they're not gonna change their mind because it's 7:30.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if they're gonna do something that ridiculous, they're gonna do it.
And who's gonna come ruin Star Wars? You don't want to be that guy.
Someone would have said that about Batman, I'm sure.
That's true. Yeah, I had got my tickets for a 2D showing at an ArcLight theater, which was more expensive than a normal theater, so I'm expecting it to be nice. We had assigned seats, which is hilarious. We got to pick our seats, but there's assigned seating in that for Saturday night at 11 p.m. So
yeah, I really want to see it. I want it to be the first movie I see in IMAX.
Well, the thing is that you can't see it in IMAX, not in 3D. So I was like, well,
yeah, that sucks. 2D is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I was debating it because I really wanted to see it in IMAX, but I'm like, I'm not paying $30 a movie ticket.
Holy, it's $30.
It's $26 for IMAX 3D, I think.
Jeez.
Something like that.
I've never, as you know, well, I guess listeners of this show don't know yet because this is the first episode, but I'm not a huge movie person, so I've never seen a movie in IMAX. I wanted Avengers 1 to be the first movie I saw in IMAX. That didn't happen. And then I wanted Avengers 2 to be, and that didn't happen. So maybe I'm just destined to never watch a movie in IMAX until I live closer to one.
Until they get rid of 3D, maybe.
Yeah, until filmmakers finally realize that nobody wants to see it in 3D. I'd be curious to see the 3D versus 2D ticket sales on if one like dominates the other.
Well, I see. The thing is that if 3D does do better, I would think it's only because that's how you can see it in IMAX.
Oh yeah, that skews it. So
it's just dumb that you're. I don't know. I don't understand, but whatever.
Hey, some people like 3D.
They do.
It's not for me.
Gives me a headache.
especially because I doubt this movie was shot with 3D in mind. Really,
It wasn't. I don't even think there wasn't 3D cameras even used.
yeah, they just freaking like
It was,
converted it and called it good.
yep, called it good. Yep.
Yep. All right, moving on from Star Wars and Battlefront. The other, at least for me, most exciting news of the week is Fallout 4 is officially gold printed, everything good to go. They tweeted out that all 27 versions was completed. I don't exactly know how there's 27 versions of it. Maybe different regions and different languages and console versus PC, whatever that means.
I would assume that's what it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Like 27. There aren't 27 consoles it could come.
They're pumping out Fallout 4 for every console ever existed and the N-Gage.
PS4, Xbox One, and Windows. So there's no Mac version, which isn't very surprising. Actually.
Really? There's no Mac version? I actually haven't heard that.
Not according to my very basic Google search. So.
I figure. Well, the picture they tweeted out is the PS4 cases, Xbox One cases, and PC. But I figured Macs were big enough now to where one of the biggest games of the year, if not the biggest game of the year, comes out on Mac as well.
Yeah, I think Mac's been kind of transitioning more to like a developer tool.
Oh, okay.
More so than creating playing games on it.
Yeah, I see Macs and workspaces a lot.
Oh yeah.
And my college has a pretty good PC to Mac ratio.
Yeah, my college, I walked into one of the computer rooms, and I'm like new to this place, and they had all Alienware desktops, and I was like, "What?"
That's okay. That kind of seems overboard, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's for the gaming major program, but it's still pretty crazy to me.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Yeah, that's where your tuition money's going.
So why are you so excited about Fallout 4?
I actually have a unique story with Fallout 4, or like a unique mindset on it. I'm not actually a big fan of Fallout 3, which I know on the internet is completely blasphemous. I just didn't think it felt that good. I couldn't get into the story, but I understand why everybody loves it and think it's like a very well put together game. And totally get why people say it's one of the best games ever. Fallout 4 comes around, and it's really hard not to just get swept up in the hype just because everywhere you turn, someone is screaming about Fallout 4 coming out in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, or it's coming out November 10th. So when the day we're recording this, it's just about 2 weeks away. And sorry, go ahead.
No, you were mid-thought.
Okay. So everything I've seen and heard about Fallout 4 seems like it's right up my alley. It's like a long open-world RPG, first-person shooter. The gameplay mechanics really, I'll never be able to tell until I feel it, but they really look like they've been fine-tuned and feel better, and they've said that they... I think they've even worked with some of the id guys, the guys that make Doom and Quake, and they're like masterclasses in first-person shooters. So I think if everything just felt better, I know I'll be able to get into the story of this one because you don't have to play Fallout 3 or any of the older Fallouts to get into this. Each one has its different story. So, and I like that the character now talks. He has his own dialogue. I just think that everything I've heard and seen about this game is all coming into the makings of a game that I just love and can easily put 100 hours into.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I've actually never played a Fallout game. But even me seeing the trailer, I was like, all right, this looks like it's going to be pretty good. And yeah, I mean, Bethesda makes good games generally. I mean, they make a lot of buggy games, but they're usually still good. So
yeah, that's one thing I'm like. Obviously, the architecture between the PS3 and the PS4 are totally different, so we're not going to see another Skyrim issue. Like, Skyrim was unplayable after 10 or 20 hours on PS3 for the first few months it was out.
Oh man, it had a lot of problems even a year after it came out on Xbox.
Yeah,
you had to have a certain number. You couldn't have 1 million save files because it'd get corrupted and the game wouldn't start. Oh man, it sucked.
Yeah, they make absolutely buggy games. That's no news to anybody. But when you get past all that, they don't make bad games. They only make great games. This is the regular Bethesda studio. Like they publish a lot of games or whatever, but this is like Bethesda Game Studios. This is their bread and butter development team, all that good stuff. And like they only make incredible games. So it's really hard not to get excited about this. It sucks that I only wanted this holiday season. Actually, I only wanted like 4 games, which is very rare. But all 4 of them come out within like a 4-week span, and one of them is Rock Band, which was $250.
Oh man!
So like, I actually might not get this the day it comes out, but we'll see. I'm super hyped for it, and there's no way I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might get it eventually, but I want Battlefront, so that's already $60 right there.
Yeah, Battlefront is a game like I put it over Fallout, and especially for this channel, so we can do everything we want to do with that game, and that comes out just the week after. So $120 on 2 games back to back. I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I think there's a lot of good games coming out now. It's really starting to ramp up finally.
Yep. Yeah, fall. I mean, the fall and holiday season every year is just like, it's hard to keep up with. Like, I already missed out on Mario Maker this year, which sucks because like, it's Mario Maker. That I wanted that game so bad, but I missed it, and I feel like now it's too late to get into, even though it's not really. That's a game you can play for the rest of your life, but it's still $60. So, and I'm a huge. Oh yeah, I guess I can. This is a good time to make a short little announcement for our channel. I'm a huge WWE fan, and WWE 2K16 comes out this Tuesday, the 27th. So I'm going to be streaming my universe mode. Every year I always create my own WWE universe called World Evolution Wrestling, and I make that. So I'll be streaming that all the time, and I'll be putting up Let's Play videos on our channel for my career mode, and I'll be streaming and putting up that so we can follow the rise and fall of my created wrestler in my career mode in WWE 2K16. So look forward to that if you're a wrestling fan, because I'm going to try to put up some fun stuff with that.
Nice.
So I'll be getting that next week, which is another $60. And like I said, I just bought Rock Band, and I'm still every day I look at this daunting list of songs I got to buy in that game. And man,
where's all this money coming from? I think is the best question.
Yeah, just I work, and I work as little and as much as I can.
That's a lot. Rock Band. So you got Rock Band, you got Battlefront, you got Fallout, you got 2K Wrestling.
Yep, and that's it. That's my 4 games. Thankfully, there aren't any more. I'm actually glad that Uncharted 4 got delayed, because Uncharted 4 would have been at the top of this list, and Fallout 4 actually might have got bumped to next year. Like, I would have had to buy it next year maybe. And I, especially with a game like Fallout, I want to be in the discussion. Like, I want to play it right when it comes out and be able to like just see what everyone's saying about it without having to worry about spoilers.
Yeah. Do you think the Uncharted was delayed like for good reasons, or do you think it was delayed so that they could put out the Drake collection first?
I think they absolutely needed to delay Uncharted 4 because it didn't have that Naughty Dog quality seal of approval on it.
Did they show any more footage outside of E3?
Yeah, they showed footage at E3 was when they showed the Drake in the Jeep, Drake and Sully in the Jeep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't put out really that much outside of that, but people have seen it behind closed doors. They've seen the Jeep trailer or the Jeep gameplay video played out in other ways. So, but not much more than that has come out since then.
Well, hopefully they start working on a Jack game after that.
They've said they're on record of saying they only create realistic games now.
That's so dumb.
Maybe another studio can make Jack. Like, Sony owns the IP, so I think if they really think there's a market for it, I think a different company could make a great Jack and Daxter game.
They could, yeah. Doesn't need a super astronomical budget,
right?
But I don't like that mentality. Like the way I read that when they said it, and it felt very like pretentious, which is not what I want from Naughty Dog because they're such a great development studio.
Yeah.
We only develop realistic games.
Yeah, I hate thinking like this, and it even kind of sounds pretentious of me to say, but going from The Last of Us to like Jack 4, I don't know. That seems like kind of a step backwards. No matter how fun Jack 4 would be, like I just can't imagine a Jack and Daxter game putting out that kind of like emotionally invested story. Even though it can, like Jack 1, 2, and 3 is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And I'm like totally invested in the characters and the story and the world, and I think it's great. But The Last of Us, like, in what Uncharted 4 is going to be, and Uncharted 2 and 3, like, I personally think it'd be kind of a step backwards going to Jack 4 if Naughty Dog did it.
Well, from a storytelling perspective, it might they would have to amp up the emotional punch, but I still think that the gameplay is more intuitive in the Jack games, even though it's based off of Super Mario. When you break it down, I still find it. I don't know. It's probably nostalgia. I find it more visually engaging than another realistic looking game that is the standard now, anyways, for most games.
Yeah, and that like cartoony, colorful feel and stuff like that, it would really shine on this new gen hardware.
It would.
Even
Ukulele looking really nice.
Yeah, Ukulele is gonna look great. Even Killzone Shadowfall, like comparing Killzone 3 on the PS3, and then they really ramped up the color and the blues and the oranges and like everything in Killzone Shadowfall on PS4, and that was a launch title. It looks beautiful, and that's like still a gritty, realistic looking game. So something like Jack would really shine on the new hardware.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder what they really mean by realistic, because I mean the Jack characters are just as real. I mean they feel real even though they're little elf creatures. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think by real do they mean graphically, or do they mean like from story and a character? Because from story and a character, none of them are realistic really.
Yeah, probably just like humans, I guess, is
Yeah.
really what it breaks down to. Like we only make real people, human characters.
That's fine. I think a lot of the development team that worked on Jack is not. I don't know if they're still. I know that some of them are still there, but I think like maybe half the team isn't anymore.
Yeah, all of the main Naughty Dog people, except for Amy Hennig and a couple other guys, are still there. Like Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann, they're still there. But like, those are just the main faces that you see and hear about. Like Naughty Dog is a team of like dozens and dozens of people, and I don't know how often those people come and go.
Yeah. Well, they're still a great studio nonetheless, and then I'm looking forward to Uncharted 4
Yep.
a lot. So
Yeah, it's definitely my most looked forward to game of next year of all the games that we know about. Which
that's
is
my
quite a
second.
bit. Oh, behind what?
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, Ratchet and Clank is going to be great too. I'm glad that both of those are Q1 2016.
Yeah, it'd be great if I wouldn't even be opposed to a Jack reboot, because I don't think they could just do Jack 4 now. I think it's been too long to do a sequel.
Yeah, it would alienate that franchise big time.
Yeah, so they could maybe start off the story, like you know how some sequels to movies, you don't have to see the previous one, type thing.
Yeah,
Like they could do something like that, or there is a backstory, but it's about the new story, so they kind of reintroduce you to the characters and stuff.
yeah, they could call it like Jack and Daxter : something.
Yeah,
So like it doesn't exactly have to be a reboot, but it could still be like you can jump in at this point, never playing any of the other Jack games, and still be completely caught up.
exactly. Well, a kid can dream.
Yep. Have you seen the trailer for the new Ratchet and Clank movie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That
it
looks awesome.
It looks like a legitimate movie. Like, I mean, I know it is a legitimate movie, but you know, video game movie has always had this stigma of just like it's gonna be
Being-
bad.
yeah.
This looks like if Ratchet and Clank never existed and that trailer came out, it's like, all right, this looks like it can really be something.
yeah. Though I know Ratchet was kind of a dick in the first game. Like he was very sarcastic, but like kind of mean sarcastic.
Yeah, definitely.
And they definitely, over the course of the games, he became nicer. So they kind of took that arc and just made him nice from the beginning. I I don't mind that because I don't really like his attitude in the first game. I know a lot of people do, but he wasn't this like Boy Scouty. He wasn't that excited about being a hero and stuff like that. He was very reluctant.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different in that sense, but he still feels like Ratchet.
Right.
As long as he has his sarcastic quips and his sassy, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because like it's a reboot, but they keep saying like they're remaking the first one. So I'm curious to see how it ties in with the movie. Like, is the movie going to tell a similar story to the new game? How close is the new game to the old game? How are they two? Like, are the new game and the new movie two like separate stories? I don't know. I have so many questions, but they're all good questions, and I'm excited for both. And I know the game's going to be great.
It looks great.
It looks beautiful, like just graphically at least. It looks so good.
It really, really does. I've never actually beaten the first Ratchet and Clank game, which is weird because I love that series.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it looks awesome.
The only thing upsetting about the movie for me is that it looks like Dr. Nefarious isn't gonna be in it, and he's one of my favorite villains of all time. Like, I think he's hilarious. I love his voice. I love his character. And I hope they don't, like, he wasn't in the first game either, so that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But I hope they, continuing the franchise forward, I hope they go back to Nefarious as the main evil villain, and they don't introduce a new person. Like, I'm all for new ideas and new things, but to have Ratchet and Clank go forward without Nefarious would be pretty disappointing for me.
Yeah, Nefarious is definitely my favorite villain in the series, at least, and maybe if this does well, he'll probably be in a sequel. So
yeah, maybe the first one ends setting up Nefarious coming in. Who knows? Like, they know he's definitely in more games than he's not, and he's one of the controllable characters in Ratchet and Clank All for One. So like, they're definitely a character that he likes, or that Insomniac likes, and I doubt they would just abandon it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. I really hope this and the Warcraft movie do well, because video game movies can't keep taking these hits, otherwise they're just gonna stop. I think
Right.
at some point. So I really hope these are both good, especially Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, like, I don't need video game movies to exist, because video games are cinematic enough and like they can exist on their own. But if I can go to the theater and see a Ratchet and Clank movie or see an Uncharted movie, and for them to be awesome, like, why not?
Yeah, I agree. Uncharted would also make a good movie.
Yeah, they're still deep in development of a Last of Us movie, and it's being headed by the main writers of The Last of Us. So
That should be interesting. I don't even know if that's necessarily a good idea, because writing a game and writing a movie are different.
right. Oh yeah, definitely. So that's why I'm glad that the main writers are there, though, because I think they'll have a better say more than anyone of like what is essential in the story to make a movie.
Yeah,
Because like you obviously cut out all the gameplay. Like, I don't know. I don't think it has to be a movie at all. I don't think the Last of Us movie needs to exist. But if they're gonna do it, it's got to be great, and I'm still gonna be excited for it.
Yep, I agree. I'm kind of over zombies, but Last of Us could be a good exception.
Yeah, they're infected.
They're infected.
Have you played The Last of Us?
No.
Oh my god!
I know the story though.
You have to buy The Last of Us or play The Last of Us remastered now that you have a PS4.
Do I?
Yes, it is the best. It is my favorite game of all time, and if you go anywhere and ask anyone, they'll say it's one of the best games of all time, at least.
All right. Well, maybe I'll borrow it from someone.
Yeah, I wish I owned it. I would send it to you.
There's just too many games coming out that I have to buy.
Next summer, when the next summer gaming drought happens, don't forget about The Last of Us, and when the inevitable sequel happens, and you get swept up in the hype of that, you'll have.
I feel like, knowing the story of The Last of Us, it really does not need a sequel.
Yeah,
like
I
it feels
agree.
like it really shouldn't have one.
I agree, and I would like to see Naughty Dog do something different. But if they do a sequel, I really hope it starts off like right where the first one ends.
Yeah.
Like, I won't get spoilery because you haven't played it, and for people that are listening, maybe not have played it for whatever reason. But definitely, if they have to do a sequel, I hope, like, I think it'd be awesome if it just, like, starts at the same frame that the first one ended and they just kick off from there.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. So, all right. I think that wraps up the news for this week and all the other PlayStation talk that we just got through. And from here, I think we can go to both of us discussing our top 5 video game franchises of all time. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to do just like one of us lifts our 5, or do you want to go back and forth?
You list your 5, and then I'll list my 5.
All right, that sounds good.
All right.
For me, number 5 is going to be the Mortal Kombat franchise. I love all the games. Even the ones that people say are the bad ones. I love the story, even though people say the story is cheesy. Like, I love all the characters. The new, especially the most current two, the reboot and the Mortal Kombat X, especially, are what put this franchise into my top 5. They're just masterclasses in fighting game play. The graphics look amazing. The story is great. Like, each character has its own backstory, and there's even a comic book tie-in that ties it all together and just makes it that much more deeper. And I love all the characters, and fatalities are awesome. Like, just why not? You know, people say the fatalities are over the top and like cartoony and stuff, but like, if I just beat the crap out of someone and then I want to rip them in half, like, why not? It's just a video game. It's fine. I love Mortal Kombat so much. Number 4. I think I'm gonna have to go with Madden. I know video game nerds and anyone that would listen to this podcast, it's like yearly sports games are just super cringy, but I've bought every Madden since Madden 2003. So
wow.
that's like what, 14 games in a row, or 13 games in a row, and I play them to death every year. I still play 16. That's been out just for a couple months. I still play that a lot. Madden is just one of those games. I'm not a big fan of yearly releases either, but Madden is the one every year I pick up, and every year it's great, and I can see the changes, and I actually am an advocate for a new one coming out every single year. Number 3 is... So this is when it gets tough, because I know what my number 1 is for sure, but 2 and 3 are kind of a toss-up. I think because it's only one game in and it's not exactly a franchise yet, I'm going to put number 3 at The Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
But if they can put out 1 or 2 more games at the same level as The Last of Us, then it's for sure my number 2. Number 2 is Gears of War.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that.
Yep. Gears of War 2 might be the game I've played online the most out of any game ever, except Halo 3 might be up there as well. Gears 2 and Halo 3 are by far the games I've played online the most, because that was like at the peak of all my friends had Xbox Live. I played with all of them all night, every night throughout 4 years of high school. And Gears of War, I love the story. I've read the novels. I think people just dismiss it as some bro shooter, Space Marine bro shooter thing, but like, if you really pay attention to it and care and try to care, all the characters are deep, and the story isn't some crazy convoluted thing that you really have to pick apart. It's just generic enough to not be awful and generic in that sense. All the books are really well written, and they're written by the same person that writes the video game stories, and they're always so fun. Like, I've played the campaign so many times, and the online is just so much fun. The Nasher shotgun and having shotgun battles with people is like some of the best gaming I've ever had. And number 1 is kind of a cop-out because it's a tie between 2 games that I think are basically the same thing enough to where I can tie them together. But if not, then just bump Mortal Kombat out and move everything over 1. But Guitar Hero and Rock Band is my number 1.
I knew it.
Yep. Those games literally changed my life because they introduced me to metal music, and because of them, I don't listen to radio rap anymore like I did when I was in middle school, and I picked up the real drums, and like, I'm a musician now, and the friends I have are because we shared music interests to start, and I still play them. I've poured literally I've at least poured $1,000 into all these games in DLC, and I still play them constantly. I just bought Rock Band 4. I own an Xbox 360 because it's the only way I can play Guitar Hero 3.
That's a great game.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero 3.
Yep. Yeah, Guitar Hero 3 is the one I started with, and I never looked back.
Can you do Dragon Force on expert?
Oh yeah,
Blindfolded?
easy. No, not blindfolded, but I can get a 98% on Through the Fire and Flames on expert in Guitar Hero 3. I'll never be able to get 100% on it, but I don't care.
I had a friend who could he could do the first like the opening part, minute and 30 seconds of Through the Fire and Flames on medium with his eyes closed.
On medium.
But with his eyes closed, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But if you do it on expert, once you learn, I dedicated like it took me like a year of playing that game before I could play that song on expert at all. But then the intro is like the infamous super hard. If you can do this, you're crazy kind of thing. So once I was good enough to pass the song, except for the intro, I dedicated an entire week of my summer vacation to learning that intro. Like I just sat down for like hours a day just doing the intro over and over and over until I finally got the right finger positions down. And just like those games are my life. I love them so much.
See, I always had a problem with the orange key.
Yeah.
Like, because I would never want to move my fingers off the first three because I would lose my place.
Yeah.
And it was bad. How do you deal with the orange key? Do you stretch your finger or do you move your
Yeah,
fingers?
you got to move your whole hand.
Okay.
You can't just stretch to hit orange. Like a lot of times I guess it just depends on the song and everything, but like I think my default hand position is to have my index finger on the red and that I move over to the green when needed. But yeah, I don't just stretch my fingers like you.
No, I
you
mean it
gotta
doesn't
move your whole
work.
hand.
I tried for a very long time with no success. So I would never play any songs on expert.
Yeah. And I can play
kind of guy.
and talk about like replay value. There's songs in those games I've played hundreds and hundreds of times, and they're still just fun. Like Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold, I've listened to and played that song thousands of times, and I could boot it up right now and have a blast with it.
Oh man, the Devil Went Down to Georgia rock remix is amazing.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, and it's
so
much
good.
fun.
I listened to the country version and I was like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah,
because I was looking for the same one to buy it because I like the song that much. But also that introduced me to Rise Against. That song that I really like. I think it's about like animal rights or something, but it's a really good song, I think.
Yeah, they have a song in their song in Guitar Hero 3 is Prayer of a Refugee.
Yeah.
And then they have a song in Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock and Guitar Hero World Tour.
Yeah.
For DLC.
Prayer of a Refugee, Raining Blood by Slayer. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
Was two of my favorites to play. Then a couple of... I like Paint It Black because I was really good at it. Because it was easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stricken by Disturbed is more... Like, if I want to get super specific... Like, when I was playing through the game, I thought, like, oh, I don't really listen to rock, but these songs sound kind of cool. And then when I got to Stricken by Disturbed, that song on medium was, like, super fun to play. And, like, when I first started out, it was super fun to play on medium. And the chorus of that song is, like, one of the greatest things I've ever heard. So that song specifically is what got me into metal and stuck me into Guitar Hero and all that stuff just forever. So,
nice.
Yeah. That's my top 5. Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat, Madden, Gears of War, The Last of Us, and then on Guitar Hero / Rock Band. Guitar Hero over Rock Band, if I want to be that specific. I like Guitar Hero more than Rock Band, but they're close enough. All right.
Well, wow, our lists are completely different. We don't have a single same game.
Yeah.
There. All right, so I guess I'll go to my number 5, which is the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, which sounds really bad because there's so many awful games in that franchise. But like the games that I really like, I really really like Sonic Adventure 2, which has a lot of problems on its own, but I still think it's a good game. I haven't. It sounds bad that I haven't played. I've only played and beaten the first 2 of like the original Sonic, so I need to get on that. But I like those games. I'm more into the 3D ones. Sonic Unleashed, half the game is really good, and the other half is kind of mediocre. Then Sonic Generations, which is I think the best Sonic game that they've put out since the originals. I think that's a really, really good game. Sonic Colors, and I'd say I haven't played any new Sonic games since Generations. I tried Lost World while I was at Comic Con 2013, and it was really fun. And then the full game came out, and it ended up not being that good, which is unfortunate. But you know, waiting on a new good game still.
I'm sure one will come.
Yeah,
Nintendo seems like they're really trying to get into the Sonic thing, and I think that's the boost that Sonic needs to have a good game again.
Yeah, being a Sonic fan kind of sucks, actually.
Hey, at least he's in Smash Bros. So he's in a fantastic game.
I don't even know if this should count, but Smash Bros. Because I like every game. I mean, Brawl is my least favorite, but the new one's really, really fun. I think that's my favorite now. Melee used to be my favorite.
Wait, why do you think that shouldn't count?
Shouldn't count because it's like, I don't know.
Smash Bros is a very respectable franchise to have in your top 5.
Oh yeah, I mean it's respectable, but it's more of like a party. I guess it's just a fighting game. Counts like anything else would. Never mind. Forget I said it. But yeah, Smash 4. The Smash franchise would be my number 4. I still think Melee is the most. Man, if you could combine Melee and the new one, that would be like the perfect Smash game. But they're both amazing games in their own ways. I think Melee had a better stage selection. Smash 4, there isn't a lot of stages that I like to play on, but the good thing is that you can do the Final Destination version of any of them.
Yeah, so that's like all I do, so I don't really know how varied the stages are, because like since day one, I just do the Final Destination version of them.
Yeah, and it has a competitive scene, so it's at least respected in that sense also. So that's a really great franchise. My number 3 is going to be Ratchet and Clank. I love that series. Up Your Arsenal, Crack in Time. Those are my 2 favorite ones. Again, it's weird that it's one of my favorite franchises, but I still haven't beaten the first or second game, so I'm gonna get the collection sometime soon and do that.
Yeah, Going Commando is fantastic.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it, and it was amazing. It was really, really great. So I'm gonna do that really soon. But it's a great franchise. I love all the different weapons, and I love platforming games in general. So yeah, it's great, colorful visuals, good characters, funny story and dialogue. It's just a really great franchise, and I think anyone could play it and enjoy it. I think. So yeah, Crack in Time I think is the best one, which is actually on the PS3. I think
I
it
would
has
agree.
Creative weapons, creative level, maybe not most creative level design, but pretty up there. And the hover boots are amazing. They're so fun. They nailed that, and the graphics, the story, it's really, really good. My number 2 is going to be Metroid, because I don't think there's a single legitimately bad game in the Metroid franchise. Other M, the story and characterization, it's like the prequels of the Metroid universe. That's Other M. Like the visuals are good.
In the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah. They're like the Star Wars prequels. Sorry. And the gameplay itself is okay. The story's bad, which I guess is unlike the prequels, because I liken the Star Wars prequels to a good joke told badly. And yeah, all the games are really good except for Other M. The second Metroid game's alright. It's probably the next worst one. But Metroid Prime is an amazing game. Metroid Prime 3 is amazing. Super Metroid's great. Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion. And I think it has the most interesting aesthetic of any Nintendo game. Metroid.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with that for sure.
I think it has the most interesting character of any Nintendo, like any originally created Nintendo IP. I think Samus is the most relatable. She's like the only one that really has a character. I'm sure I'm forgetting characters, but I think that she's the most immediately notable character. And I'm not talking about games that are published by Nintendo. There's specifically first-party IPs by them. I think Metroid is the most interesting from a story perspective. So yeah, great series. I'm still waiting on a new one. Federation Forces was like a slap in the face. It was very upsetting.
A new Metroid's coming.
And it wouldn't that game would not have been upsetting if they announced the Metroid game and that. It'd have been like, okay, it's a fun little party game. But the fact that they did that, they piggybacked off the Metroid Prime name. Oh man, that was annoying. And then now we might not even get a new one until the next console. Like that was the main reason I bought a Wii U, but oh well. I hope the next console is either cheaper or they do some sort of deal because I don't think that while a lot of good games have come out in the Wii U, I don't think that they've done it justice to already be planning a new console. Um, anyways, and my number one is Jack and Daxter. Those three games are great. All three of them are amazing. My favorite is the second one. I think while it doesn't have the best checkpoint system, I like the difficulty. I like the aesthetic. I like the story is really interesting, and the gameplay is still great. It's a really well paced game. It has a good balance between the more shooting Grand Theft Auto y elements and the platforming. And a great game. Um, if I could change one thing about that franchise, it would be that I would not have jumped into the future into the gritty aesthetic so quickly. Like I've watched interviews and I understand why they did that, but I think that the second game should have been the third game and the third game should have been the second. And this in terms of aesthetic only, I mean, there should have been like so it felt more gradual in the shift. But that's okay. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of the Jack and Daxter games. It's the darkest one.
Yeah, it is.
Great games. The first one might have been the moment that I like fell in love with video games. And I'm gonna give an honorary mention to the Pokemon franchise because it's basically the same thing every time, but I love those games. They're so fun. Makes me feel like a kid. I play those games and forget about everything. It's great. So
Yeah, shout out to Pokemon.
yeah. I mean Pokemon is like almost an introductory game for many people.
Yeah, I definitely remember getting a Game Boy and Pokemon Blue for Christmas.
Yeah.
And like that I know I owned and played video games before that, but that's like one of my earliest, most vivid memories of video games is just getting Pokemon Blue, and it took me like an hour to figure out how to advance to the next place. Like I just didn't go into the tall grass for whatever reason. And, yeah, but I was like 5, so
So it's fine.
yeah.
No, Pokemon's great. I mean, it really is an honorary mention. Pokemon Silver is also one of those games where it was one of my earliest memories playing a game. It's probably my most vivid memory of a video game from my
From that far
childhood
back.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your list, every game on your list except, I'm not a big Sonic and Metroid guy, but like Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Smash Bros, like all those games are phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
A great top 5 list. The more that I've been thinking about it, because it's not a franchise yet, I really don't feel, even though it's my number 1 favorite game of all time, I don't feel comfortable putting The Last of Us in there. So I'm going to take out The Last of Us at number 3 and slide Donkey Kong Country in there. At
Oh
number
wow.
3. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know you liked Donkey Kong Country that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country has always been my favorite Nintendo property. Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 are 2 of my favorite games of all time. I go back and replay them every year. The Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii is phenomenal. Tropical Freeze on Wii U is like that game alone. That game of Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8 justified the Wii U purchase for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always use Donkey Kong in like Mario Kart and tennis, and like whenever Donkey Kong is in a Nintendo game, he's my dude. He was the first amiibo I bought. Donkey Kong Country is, yeah, definitely put that at number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never like heard someone invested in Donkey Kong in that sort of way, so it's interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool though.
I remember the old cartoons of Donkey and Diddy, like the well, I almost said the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, freaking Indiana Jones. But no, like I can't even remember any of their names now. But you know, the old Donkey Kong Country cartoon. I think they were just movies. There was like 2 or 3 of them. I loved those. I was just a little kid, so whatever. Yeah, so Donkey Kong Country number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, our lists are so different.
I know, that's great though. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
'Cause
respect all your choices though.
yeah, like I'm glad that we didn't just come out here and say, "Oh, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Halo, Gears, Mass Effect."
I mean,
Like
it's fine
that.
if you like all those games because they're all good franchises, but they're
Yeah.
very I want to say generic choice, but I feel like that sounds more insulting than I mean it to.
Yeah. It it's generic for a reason, I guess. Like everyone loves Halo for a reason. People like Call of Duty for a reason. So,
Very addictive games.
yeah. I feel like my top 5 doesn't really like help define me as a gamer at all. Like Madden, Guitar Hero.
Yeah, those are just. It feels like those are the ones you enjoy playing the most, but I feel like some other games might better define you as a person.
Yeah, like when like if I were to tell you, oh, my favorite styles of games are single player, action adventure, super deep story, great
Yeah,
mechanics, all that stuff, it's like, well, my top 5 doesn't really have any of that. But
it's so funny.
yeah,
It's just you have a lot of those games that you like in that category, but just your favorite games overall are not those.
yeah, like I think if Uncharted 4 is as good as I think it's gonna be, then I think that might screech into the top 5 and kick out Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
I think that has a very good possibility of happening, and we'll find out next year in March. Hopefully, they better not delay that game again.
I hope not. I'm eager to play it. So I have two more honorable mentions.
Sure.
Warcraft franchise in general. I was gonna say Warcraft 3. That's the only strategy game I played, so I can't really count that as my favorite franchise when I've only played the one game. But and World of Warcraft, which it's kind of a franchise. It gets expansion packs, so
Yeah, it's been out for a decade.
yeah. And I love that game, or I did. So shout out to that.
You were really big into that for a while. Do you still play it at all?
Well, I got the new expansion, and after the first 3 months, it kind of seemed like the developers stopped caring about it. Um, so I'm gonna get back into it once the new one comes out, but it remains to be seen if I'll stick around.
All
So
right, and you said you have another honorable mention.
no, just Warcraft 3.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's all the same franchise, just different styles of game.
Yeah.
No, but that's it. Oh, and Star Wars Battlefront. Oh man, those games are so fun.
Yeah, Battlefront 2 is the game I've played on PC by far the most. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason or actually, when I got an Xbox 360, I had um, I had 2 Red Ring of Deaths within just a couple months. So I sent it in to Microsoft to get fixed, and that took like 3 or 4 weeks. So in that time, that was the only video game console I had because I had a PS2, but it was broken. And so I bought a couple PC games because I'm not going to go a month without playing video games. So I bought Battlefield. Luckily, my computer could run them. I bought Battlefield 2, Oblivion, and Battlefront 2. And even when I got my 360 back, I could just not peel myself away from Battlefront 2. And I just played it for probably a couple years.
I think Battlefront 2 still has an online community of like 10,000 people.
Dang, it probably does. You're probably right.
I've been debating getting it. We'll see how the new one is, and then if I don't like it as much, I'll go get the old one.
Yeah, I don't think I could go back to Battlefront 2 just because I've played it. Even if I think it's better than Battlefront, I've just played it so much, and it probably feels dated. So maybe not though.
Maybe, I don't know, because I don't think the Jack games feel dated, with the exception of the checkpoint system in the second game. But and Battlefront 2 is newer. That doesn't necessarily mean anything when it comes to being dated, but those developers are also really good. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, everything with Battlefront 2 felt good then, so maybe it will now. But DICE, like the current DICE team, is just so good with how they make everything feel. And I'm playing Destiny a lot now, and Bungie are obviously top class in
Oh yeah.
making first-person shooter mechanics. So I don't know. I'm confident though in Battlefront. I don't think we're gonna have to be going back. I'm
No,
confident that it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm just the only thing I'm worried about is the content because we already know that the gameplay is good from playing the beta. So
Yep. Yeah, I really think that they were off when they decided to just go 4, 5, and 6. Like, I get that it would have taken more time and the game wouldn't have come out this year, but like every match is rebels versus stormtroopers, and like everything we talked about earlier. Like, I really think they missed the boat with totally ignoring the prequels, but maybe that'll probably be their big selling point of Battlefront 2. They'll be like, we've got all the new characters from episode 7 and we've got the prequels, so like they've got to sell Battlefront 2 somehow, and I think that's the best way to do it. So maybe they held it back for that purpose.
well, the problem with how they did it this time is they did it in a more traditional shooter kind of way in how you customize your weapons and stuff. Whereas in the other Battlefront games, you had like a few different classes to choose from, but they all had predetermined loadouts. And the advantage of that is that you don't. It,
There's more of a teamwork element to it.
it seems like the balancing that has to go into the loadouts in the new one would be more difficult because you don't think of it as a separate entity. You think of all these mixed matches and because you can put any weapon with any other thing together, and so I think that'd make it more complicated. So I still hope that they put it into the game, but it's going to be DLC if it is, and it's going to cost money. So
Yep. Yeah, that I'm definitely not buying the season pass because I know like all the DLC that they put out, I'm just gonna pick and choose what I think. And like the last bit of DLC will come out probably mid to late next year. I might not even be playing the game still at that point.
yep.
So I'm definitely not getting the season pass, but I'll be interested in look into all the DLC. Don't forget to pre-order the game, like not listener, like you, Ben, specifically, because we got to get that free DLC early.
Oh,
'Cause,
Jakku?
Yeah, the Jakku. I can never remember that name for some reason. But if you pre-order the game, then you get the Battle of Jakku a week early, and pre-ordering doesn't cost any extra, so why not?
Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll pre-order it like a week before.
Yeah. Oh, and preloading, so we'll be able to play it the second it comes out.
Oh, true.
So-
I'm gonna get a physical copy, but I guess it still has to do stuff.
Oh, you are gonna get a physical copy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably thinking about it. I probably should too. I don't know. We'll see. My hard drive is. I need to buy a new hard drive so bad. I still have the 500 gigabyte that comes with it. I need to buy a 2 terabyte hard drive. But
Apparently, some Star Wars Battlefront 3 stuff leaked, which is like really awful timing.
yeah. Oh, didn't it leak like a long time ago?
Yeah, and
Unless like new stuff just came out. I don't know. But I remember Battlefront 3 info came out like a few years ago.
yeah, I mean graphically it's nowhere near as pretty, but there's all the content that you would want in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that game was jam packed with content.
I feel bad for those developers.
Yeah, because now just EA and DICE have their property, and they're just this Battlefront is by far going to sell more than the other two ever did. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be way more. EA is expecting 9 million copies to be sold, and like all these business and finance sites think that they're underballing it.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be really interesting this year to see what game sells the most between like Madden and NBA. They always sell like a ton, but then you got Call of Duty, which may or may not be plateauing and maybe falling off a little bit, but Black Ops 3 is seeming to bring in more people.
yeah,
And then
that
Star
game
Wars
was really
Battlefront.
good.
Yeah,
Black Ops 3. I might
Yeah.
get that.
for like I've been off the Call of Duty trail since Modern Warfare 2, but like I'm not really a hater of the game like most internet people are. Like I just don't play it, and I don't go out of my way to hate on it. I just
Right.
pretend like it's there, whatever. People like it. That's cool.
That's fair.
Yeah, but then Fallout 4 I think is gonna sell gangbusters. Like that game's gonna sell at least 10 million.
Do you think it's gonna sell 10 million? Really?
Yeah, I
That's a lot.
really believe it will. And then Battlefront is gonna sell double digits, or
Yeah.
like 10 million, maybe by the end of the year. I don't know. Eventually, it'll sell 10 million, but I don't know. It comes out mid-November, so that only gives it a month and a half. But most video game sales happen within the first month it's out, so because then everybody just buys it used.
Well, Fallout 3 just on the Xbox 360 sold 4.6 million copies.
Yeah, I think Fallout 4 will be bigger than that, and that was just on the 360.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm 100%. Microsoft and Square Enix, they're really screwing up putting out Tomb Raider the same day Fallout 4 comes out. Like, Tomb Raider's huge and it'll be fine, but I really think they're sending that game out to die. Putting it out. It's a console exclusive for a year. It's coming out on PS4 next year. It's coming out the same day as Fallout 4, which is like arguably the biggest game of the year. Like, I think that game is in trouble.
It is, but I'm actually going to pick up Tomb Raider over Fallout 4. Though I have to wait a year to get it, so I guess I'm not really choosing.
Yeah. I don't know. My girlfriend loved the first Tomb Raider, or like the reboot, so I'll probably end up playing it just by default. She'll probably buy it. But I don't know. I feel like on PS4 we have Uncharted, so like I don't know. I just think they're missing, like, nothing against the game itself. I just think that Microsoft and Square Enix are really messing up by putting it out the same day as Fallout 4.
I definitely don't think it's a good idea. I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, they should have put it out earlier. Like, that game's been done for a while. They should have put it out, like, 3 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks ago, at least.
Yep.
Just give it some kind of time.
Yep. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So, all right, I think that about wraps up our show. Do you have any final thoughts or things you want to say about the new channel, the show, something we missed, anything like that?
No, I'm just eager to get this going. Fun fact that me and Miller have been wanting to get this going for a while. Sean, sorry.
Whatever, it's cool.
Me and Sean have been wanting to get this going for a while. We're finally doing it, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, we've been like, we do another podcast, a hip hop podcast, and like so often on there we get sidetracked into video game discussion, like that has absolutely nothing to do with hip hop, and like it's just super obvious that this is like another passion of ours. So we have wanted to start this channel, and it's finally coming together. I think, and now we finally, like, we have time and the dedication to put into it, like to do this weekly podcast or to put up Let's Plays. Rock Band, I wanted to stream Rock Band a lot. I kind of have been, but there's a glitch on the PS4 right now where if you stream Rock Band 4, the song doesn't play through. But they're patching that at the end of the month, so I'll be, which is like just a few days, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, once they patch that in and you can actually hear what I'm playing, I will be streaming that game more. And then with, like I said, I want to do some fun things with my WWE career mode. And then Battlefront is the game that we're finally going to be playing together. And I think it's all coming together. We're gonna be doing some classic reviews. We may or may not do reviews of new games. We don't, obviously, since we just started, we're not getting like early copies of any games. So like all the big outlets will have their reviews. We're not trying to compete with big outlets. We're just gonna be doing our own fun thing.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna be putting up some classic reviews of some of our old favorite games. Like Ben might be doing a Ratchet Clank review. I don't know if you're doing it for this channel or for something else. Or if it'll go up on here. I don't know.
Not sure. We'll figure it out, but I'm definitely interested in doing classic reviews, and I think me and Sean could give an interesting perspective. I would hope. So.
Yeah. And we're always like, for this podcast, we'll always be on the super nerdy up and up with all the current video game topics and things like that. So hopefully you enjoyed what you heard today. If you liked us, if you like the show, like the idea, like what we want to do going forward, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We don't have a custom URL yet, so I will just, hopefully it's found other ways, but hopefully someday we get that youtube.com/getsomegames URL. Unless it's taken, then we'll get something else. But for now, hit that subscribe button so it's not a big, hard thing to find us, and you just can have us pop up in your subscription feed every week and whenever we put up anything. And then, of course, don't forget to follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/getsome_games. And then follow us on Twitter at getsome_games. So thank you, Ben, for joining me. Thank you guys for listening to us. And until next time, we're out.